On August 1st, 2019, residents of Junction City, Kentucky were awoken to a large explosion at 1 a.m. The explosion occurred in a small trailer park community off 127 in Moreland, Kentucky. Some residents were still awake at that hour. The explosion stemmed from a natural gas line that suddenly ruptured, killing one person and injuring 5 others. The explosion was seen over 70 miles away. This picture was taken from University of Kentucky Hospital, 50 miles away. The person that took it lived in the area of the explosion. As you can see, they were lucky enough to not be home at the time of the explosion. The flames were over 300 feet high, making it as tall as the Statue of Liberty. Nearby residents started feeling their homes shaking and pictures bouncing off the wall. Then suddenly they saw a huge bright ball of flames. The explosion decimated the trailer park community. Pictures taken at the scene show absolutely nothing left, hardly no rubble. It was all burnt. Officials said heat off the flames melted the roads and destroyed nearby train tracks. Kentucky State Trooper Robert Purdy said that the blast melted nearby railroad tracks. A total of 31 trains were backed up because of the explosion. The initial blast was caught on a front porch camera. This is one of many that caught the blast. The explosion created a huge hole, showed here. The gas line was a 30-inch interstate transmission line that extended a total of 9,000 miles from the border of Texas and Mexico up to New York. It also makes additional stops from the oil rigs out in the Gulf. Don Gillum, director for Lincoln County Emergency Management, said there appeared to be a total of 2 explosions, not commenting on what the other explosion was. EMA is basically a subsidiary of FEMA, which receives federal funding but is ran by local authorities. The flash of heat from the second explosion is what killed 58-year-old Denise Derringer. The Lincoln County Coroner's Office said the victim died of thermal exposure, meaning she wasn't burnt but died from the extreme heat caused by the explosion, which is similar to what would happen if you were close enough to a nuclear explosion. The victim was found outside her home, which means she saw the first blast, tried to leave, and then the second blast is what killed her. The owner of the pipeline is Enbridge, a company out of Canada. A spokesman from the company said the explosion occurred from one of 3 pipelines in that area. The spokesman also said they would send a team to investigate the cause of the explosion. Kentucky hazmat teams were on the scene as of that morning. Because the line runs across several states, it falls under the jurisdiction of the federal government, which is also in charge of inspections. The investigation will be led by the NTSB. Actually, the lines are transcontinental, running from Mexico all the way into Canada.
The United States solves the wartime problem of transporting oil within the country. The plan? To supply pumping stations and tank cars by additional pipelines direct from the wells.
The pipeline was built back in 1942 to transport oil. President Roosevelt ordered the Big Inch and Little Inch pipelines to be built for reasons of national security, mainly because during that time the only way to transport oil was by truck. It was then converted over for use of natural gas. The construction of the pipelines actually enabled the United States to win World War II. So I found a few things odd with this explosion, so of course I investigated. The first thing I found odd was an interview by the Courier-Journal in Louisville, Kentucky. The Courier-Journal talked to several residents of the trailer park community. One being Donald Coulter, 84.
Out of bed, the clocks are falling off the walls, the trailer was shaking like crazy. I went to the door to see this big ball of fire, and it was noisy. I opened the door was so hot you couldn't hold on. I couldn't get in the car because it was hot. All smoke, you couldn't see nothing. Big chunks of rocks or something was falling. You had to watch out, keep from getting knocked in the head on that.
Coulter went on to say that he thought the world was coming to an end. His daughter, Jody Coulter, had said that 2 days before, a man that seemed to be with the gas company had placed a flag in the exact location to where the explosion occurred. She said she jumped across the bed because she knew it was the gas line that had exploded. The second thing I found was also in the Courier-Journal, where Director Don Gillum of the Lincoln County Emergency Management said that there appeared to be 2 explosions from the area of the gas line, which the second one is what killed Denise Derringer, which I would attribute to the actual gas line exploding. No one knows what the first explosion was or what caused it, which is what I find odd. At a press briefing, the NTSB stated they were extremely interested in video footage from the pipeline explosion.
The accident pipeline was a 30-inch diameter gas transmission pipeline, and at approximately 12:24 a.m. on Thursday, the pipe ruptured, releasing natural gas, ignited, and burned. Approximately 30 feet of the pipe was ejected from the ditch. I'm anticipating that we will also be taking a section of the fractured pipe back to NTSB headquarters in Washington, D.C. for a more thorough, detailed metallurgical examination. And we are also very interested in video, including any security video that may have captured any portion of the accident. And if you have any of this video, you should reach out to us at a special email account, and that email account is witness@ntsb.gov.
After the DHS and FEMA put out an alert for cyber attacks on America's infrastructures and utilities in late 2017-2018, there have been nothing but explosion after explosion of gas lines, electrical substation explosions, and outages on all major transmission lines of all kinds. I find that extremely odd. So I looked a few up about the section in Kentucky, and this is what I found. There are several compressor stations in Kentucky that help pump natural gas the long distances that it needs to travel. I found 3 on this particular pipeline. One in Glasgow, Kentucky, one in Paint Lick, and the other in Morehead, Kentucky. The flow of natural gas is a northern one. The compressor station in Glasgow and Morehead have been upgraded to pump natural gas bidirectionally, meaning they can pump from either north or south. There are also 2 more further up north, but I left those out on purpose because they don't fit into the evidence that I found of what could have possibly caused the explosion. The evidence I found may have shown a cyber attack occurred on the Morehead compressor station in northern Kentucky. Let me tell you why. The Paint Lick facility is currently being built and isn't technically up and running. But the 2 facilities that have bidirectional flow are Glasgow and Morehead compressor plants. And if you were to hack into, say, the Morehead compressor station and reverse the flow, sending it south, when the other compressor station is normally pumping north, then what would happen? The pressure would meet somewhere in the middle and build up until it explodes, correct? Well, guess where the middle between those 2 pumping stations are? That's right, Moreland, Kentucky, which is also where a connection point is. The gold yellowish drop pin is Moreland, Kentucky, or Junction City. The distances between the 2 points, which are white, which show the pumping stations in Glasgow and in Morehead, aren't exact. They are just being used as reference for now. So what do you all think? Was it a cyber attack? Who was the guy who planted the flag at the exact location of the explosion even though nobody was working there? Why does the NTSB need video footage? Do they know something we don't? Was one or both of the facilities hacked? Was the Morehead facility hacked, as I said? Do you think it's a coincidence that Junction City is right in the middle of those 2 compressor stations? What was the first explosion that was heard? I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. I'll answer back. Also, I'm working on a Patreon page for my channel. Hopefully that will be up and running soon. I do have gifts planned for every tier that's on there. So everybody can receive something. Also, I have bonus footage after the ending credits. If y'all want to stay to watch that, you can. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.